Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So here's where I think we're headed. It looks like the majority is going to have us vote on the motion to proceed to the budget. They've chosen a totally partisan path. I can't remember a budget in the time that I've been here that either side has ever voted in a bipartisan way. So we're off to a totally partisan start.
Not a shock, and it matters because people want to get back to work. People want to get back to their lives. They're going to need a little jump start, some of them, because they've been stuck in situations, well, that quite frankly suck, and much of it has been self-inflicted by the states, poor management of coronavirus, rules, the way that we could have stayed open and at the same time still done things right, but through non-scientific ways, i.e. California, you can't dine outside because, yeah, or, you know, just silliness of like, well, you shouldn't go trick-or-treating. People throw a fit. Well, you can go trick-or-treating. What was the science based on that? So through all of that insanity, here we are. Now we're trying to figure out yet again another relief package that will be not bipartisan. It'll be partisan. It'll cost a ton of money, and don't think this will be the last one, because you know people are going to come back and say, we need more. We need more.
We are not going to dilute, dither, or delay, because the needs of the American people are just too great.
Chuck Schumer there. Of course. It's about doing it right. Nobody cares about that. It's about getting out and having your 2 minutes to say whatever it is, knowing full well exactly where this is going to end. Everybody knows where this is going to end. They're either going to do a budget, reconciliation. They're going to, you know, because the filibuster's tough. Like, you know, they want to get rid of the filibuster. I spoke yesterday to, somebody that the left is coming after, a Democrat, Kyrsten Sinema, out here in Arizona. And she's like, I'm not getting rid of the filibuster. That's ridiculous. That's how the minority party has a chance to have a say to do some stuff. She goes, our founding fathers set this up, and we've talked about this. So there would be roadblocks. So one party couldn't dominate and take things to the extreme. So this will get done. And trust me, there's going to be more out there. Well, they're going to come and say, hey, you know what? We need to do more. It wasn't enough. The almost $2 trillion on top of the $900 billion wasn't enough. We need more. And you're going to find out there's lots of pork. There's lots of stuff that goes to programs that don't work. There's lots of things put in places that really won't use the money the right way. And people go, where's ours?
Count me in for more payments, direct payments beyond $600. Count me out for giving $2,000 payments to people that make almost $200,000 a year. I think it needs to be more targeted. I don't mind having more direct payments. I'd like to make it less targeted. And I don't mind discussing raising the minimum wage when the COVID problem passes and we get back on our feet. I do mind doubling it in the middle of a pandemic. And I do believe that this $1.9 trillion package is going to do more harm than good to the American economy.
Joe Manchin has some issues with it. And what did I say when the Democrats ended up, everybody knew that they're going to have it all, right? They had Kamala Harris, the vice president, tiebreaker. It was 50-50 in the Senate. And I said 2, maybe 3 senators on the left side of the aisle will be friends of the Republicans. Kyrsten Sinema being one, because she's more interested in doing the things you're supposed to do. And already the people that help put AOC in power and the uber progressives, they're targeting her to try to get her out because she doesn't want to get rid of the filibuster, because she wants to do what's best, not what's best for the party. Same thing with Manchin. They're coming after him. Why? He's like, I don't know if we need $15 an hour. I'm going to vote against that. And I said there are 2, maybe 3, because we'll see how Kelly is. Everybody said he's going to be very independent, and he's the newest and latest senator from Arizona who's also on the left. It's possible. The end of the day, we know where this is going. Democrats are going to win this round. Republicans, they're going to fight a little bit. They're going to do what they possibly can. Maybe they get a few concessions. But what happens in 2-3 months when we're not in the position to have everything open, when we're not in the position to be fully open and people are still going to be struggling. Some will be climbing out of the mess. Others will still be smack dab in the middle of it. And we're still talking about how do we go about making sure that we get this right when it comes to the vaccine, which for the love of sweet Jiminy Cricket seems to be an absolute mess. Thank God they're trying to do something different now where they just said, you know what? Let's just send it to all of the pharmacies out there. Let's just stop this nonsense.
My Walgreens is pretty busy. Will this be an out in the parking lot kind of thing? And who will handle the crowds and decide who can go and who can't?
That it's going to be scheduled and appointments are going to be the way that we want to do this. Safety is the number one thing that we need to make sure that we're doing. And all protocol states that we have to have time to monitor patients after the vaccine as well. So there won't be crowds. It's going to be scheduled. We'll make sure we have appropriate time and spacing for those getting the vaccine. Once they know that they're scheduled, we'll make sure that our healthcare professionals are there to give them the vaccine and monitor them appropriately.
I'm going to tell you guys this for the umpteenth time. The game changer in all of this is Johnson & Johnson. While it's only 66% effective, it is one shot. There is no need to have any kind of special requirements when it comes to freezers or ovens or whatever else that you need to have for some of these things. It is one and done. And the longer it's in you, the stronger it gets. And the thing I love about it, it fights against it should you get it. So should you happen to catch it, it's almost 70%. But if you're one of the 30% that happen to get it, the chances of you getting really sick and needing medical treatment to the point where you're going to the hospital is almost nil. And it's one and done. Convenience. Convenience. That's what we as Americans need, but at the same time, it's about getting people back out there, and we're going to have to do it through. Part of it is going to be the fact that so many people have already caught this and probably have no idea. They at one time or another have had it. And the second part is getting as many people as possible vaccinated who want to be, and then having an understanding that we're moving on with our lives. That's simple. That's simple. We do that, we're good. If we dilly-dally, play this game, continue to throw more money at an issue that we should be working through ourselves with our states, we're going to be a mess. Credit Sesame. They went and did what they do. They did a poll with a bunch of people. A lot of people are very confident this year that they're going to do okay. And I think that's because they feel towards the latter half of the year, the last third, that life is going to be good, that they're going to be back to normal. Kids are going to be back at school. Well, we better get there, and we got to stop this crap. It's amazing the way we're great at starting wars. We're great at doing a lot of different things. But so many of those things that we end up being great at is reactionary. We need to be forward thinking now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. It is Woke Wednesday, and we're going to be woken it all day. I just tweeted something from a super tolerant woman of color who is like you. Sometimes you're like, my God, I like tolerance is awesome. She says, petition to put cis white dudes on a barge and float them out to sea. I tweeted back, what if I changed white to anything else? What's that look like? Oh, wokeness, kids. I love wokeness. It's just fantastic. So we got a lot of Woke Wednesday today. Crazy stuff from acronyms. Because San Francisco's like, hey, remember what we did with Lincoln? We're going one even better. And you're like, wait, you got rid of the Lincoln High School name and George Washington and even Dianne Feinstein because, you know, in the 80s, a Confederate flag while she was mayor. Whatever. But, yeah, they went one deeper on this. That's the world that we live in. When I tell you about the war that we're having, it's a cultural civil war It's not going to be a war of guns and taking to the streets. It's that isn't happening. Yeah, the stupidity of what took place on the 6th of January was real, but at the end of the day, don't expect that for several years all over the place. No, it's just that stuff's not going to happen, but the cultural war is real. And that's the battle that needs to be had. And it's about bringing people back to the world of common sense, having an understanding of being respectful towards one another, but also understanding, you know what? I may say some stuff you don't like. Turn the channel. You may tweet something I don't like. I'll scroll by it. But to want to cancel, destroy, and or insult a group of people because you feel you have some sort of moral high ground is crap. It is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. Car Shield. Get your car protected. Best protection plans around. Start as low as $99 a month. With it, you get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. They get them paid directly. So whether you're stuck in the snow and your check engine light comes on, or you're out here in beautiful Arizona and it's beautiful 80 degrees and, the air conditioning's not working right, they've got plans that fit what it is that you're looking for. Whether your car's a little bit older, a little bit newer, give them a call. Find out what they can do for you. Over 1 million drivers have been protected by America's #1 auto protection company. That could be you. Drive with confidence like I do. I got both my cars protected. Get coverage today. Car Shield, cars go farther. You'll find out why. 800-665-2157. Call that number. Mention code Benson. Save 10%. Or go to carshield.com. Carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Super Bowl this weekend. Tampa. It's interesting. I was reading that the struggle for ticket brokers right now to sell their tickets is big. And you would think, well, there's only going to be 35% of the stadium could be full. So you would think there's massive demand for this because of the limited capacity. But take in COVID. First of all, COVID plays a huge part for several reasons. Even if you have the money, getting there may be a pain in the butt, more so than usual. And a lot of people, as we are a nation of convenience, we don't want to go through all that stuff. We don't. It's like, all right, I got to the thought of flying from maybe like California to Florida, you're probably not thinking about it. COVID, because a lot of the people that have the money right now, and that's one thing that COVID has showed us, is the haves and the have-nots grew in this for a lot of reasons. One, because the haves set themselves up in different ways where they could work from home and do a lot of things that, other people just couldn't do. And not trying to be a jerk. That's just the reality of it. But they're frustrated. I don't want to fly across the country. What's the hotel's going to be like? It's not the same. And the other part of this is a lot of people go to Super Bowl week, which is happening now, for the experience. And by going there for the experience, sometimes a good majority of people go and they don't have tickets. They're hoping, like, we'll get there, we'll find tickets. We'll figure something out. There's no way to do that now because there's no real Super Bowl week the way we would think. Kansas City's still in Kansas City. They're not going to leave till Thursday night or Friday. And Tampa Bay's obviously at home. And you would think Tampa would fill the entire stadium. So I think with the rules and the restrictions, I think a lot of people are just like, you know what, we'll pass. But think about this. If this was a normal time, So a normal time, what tickets would be going for? Let's say what's being played in Vegas. Non-coronavirus year, still a good economy, things are roaring. You've got the greatest quarterback and arguably the greatest football player. Well, it's not even, he is the greatest football player and leader in the history maybe of American sports. Tom Brady. Taking on the person who many people think, if anybody could ever have a chance of catching him, if anybody could ever have a chance of doing what Tom Brady did, it's this kid. This 25-year-old who in 4 years has lit up the NFL, has changed the way the game's played. Oh, tickets would be massive. But we don't live in those times right now. We don't. I'm pumped. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Andy Reid.
Yeah, listen, our guys, I think, enjoy being around each other. Brett Veach did a nice job of bringing everybody back, and they're an unselfish bunch that like to play, and they like to play together, and that I think that's one of our strengths as a football team. So it's a great culture. It starts with Clark Hunt at the top there as our owner, and it just kind of filters on down again to us. So it's a very good organization, very well-run organization.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Well-run organization. It's going to be fun. They're not going to have any hangovers. Andy Reid knows exactly what he's doing. These guys have been here before. It's going to be good. Now the question is, what do you do, Dr. Fauci, about a party?
Watch the Super Bowl on TV, enjoy it, have a party in your house with your family, with the people who are there. But the one thing you don't want to do, don't want to be, somebody that's putting a damper on anything, but you don't want parties with people that you haven't had much contact with.
So no big parties with people you don't know. That's what he says. Frustrating. This time next year, totally different story. Let's just get through this as a country, and then we can argue about crap on the other side. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let's get woke. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's crazy, I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump.
Yeah, this guy's called Tom McDonald. He's Canadian, lives in L.A. He's got almost 2 million followers on YouTube. And he takes on all kinds of things, and cancel culture, race, the whole nine yards. And I was telling him, Post Malone, if you guys know who Post Malone, love Post Malone, by the way. It's probably my favorite artist. If you know who Post Malone is, think of Post Malone. Tattoos all over his face, right? This guy. He's got like 4 big, long, blonde pieces of hair that look dread, maybe braided. He's got the grill, the whole nine yards. And it's funny. I was watching a bunch of his stuff. It's hilarious because it's meant to be a social thing like anything else. It's funny because so many people are like, oh, it's a parody. It's not a parody. This is who this guy is. Talks about cancel culture. Talks about being a white boy. Like, why are you coming after me for something people a long time ago did to other people that have nothing to do with anybody in this room? And it's so interesting how people attack him. And it's funny when you listen to, so he was on, he's been on several different things over the last couple of days. It's the number one downloaded song right now on iTunes. He has 0 record label. It's him and his girlfriend. They shoot the videos. They edit it. He puts all the stuff together. But when you listen to the song about fake wokeness, and that's what it is, fake wokeness, because this is the culture war I talk about, that matters. When you want to talk about the Civil War and where we're going, the controlling of words, the forcing people either through fear or through reward to go at times against their actual belief of something, that's scary. But so he goes through this whole song. And again, the song is, you can go check it out. I put it on the YouTube and I put it on, on my Facebook and everything. Go check it out. But this is great. This is what some people are saying about him.
Supporters call his stance refreshing, but critics have accused him of racism and homophobia. One Twitter user writing, if someone listens to Tom MacDonald, cut them off completely. Another tweeting, if you like Tom MacDonald, you got to be racist. And
that's the perfect example of the wokeness of the world. If you like this, you have to be racist. Why? You need to cut these people off. Why? Because for so many people, it's fake. I've got friends in the entertainment industry, and I got a couple friends who are pretty successful. We BS from time to time about politics. Not much. They listen to my show, actually. I'm always pleasantly surprised. I get a text. I'm like, dude, I was listening to your show. It's great. They can never say that in real life. And we laugh about that, but it's sad. It's sad that people are scared to have an opinion about something because it's not the right opinion? No, it's not the right opinion. So my opinion's not the right opinion based on your opinion, not based on facts. Exactly. How would this look to people? Because one group of people who scream about tolerance, and it's majority of the time. It used to be in the 80s. Remember the 80s, 90s? It was the Christian conservatives that were intolerant. Now the loony liberals. And I'm not talking about the average Democrat. I'm talking about the loony liberal progressives who want to control the way that you talk, who want to control the things that you believe, to the point where if I can, I'll get you to either believe my way or at least have an appearance of believing my way because you're scared. That is not anything that we should be doing. But that's where we are. That's why we joke about Woke Wednesday. But Woke Wednesday is very real. Think about this for a second. We talked last week about acronyms. About San Francisco and getting rid of schools, right? We're going to get rid of schools because and the names of the schools like Lincoln, racist, right? This person over here that you've never heard of, well, in his later years, he wavered a little bit about some of the things that he believed when it came to the Native Americans. Oh, this person over here, well, they were obviously evil because they were white and they were from way back when. So we're going to get rid of those. And you're like, all right, so Lincoln's now racist. Like there's no, this is where it's going. So now San Francisco's just going and going and going. And the new one is acronyms.
Did you know acronyms are racist? The SF School District renamed the arts department because acronyms arise from white supremacy. VEPA had stood for Visual and Performing Arts. But they add acronyms also express things like white privilege qualities, individualism, perfectionism, objectivity. Those are white privilege qualities. So in this world where polarization is the word of the day, why spread more polarizing dogma? Because it sells.
It sells. And it's great, right, for them. It's awesome. You can go out and scream and yell and say you're this, that, and the other, and people will look, and it's stupid. Well, individualism is beautiful. It's an amazing thing. We should be individuals. Right? No, they don't want you to be an individual. They don't want you to think. It's funny that Tom MacDonald guy was talking about, about being individual and all of these things. It's an interesting thing as he talks about his fake wokeness. But we joke about one day a joke's going to go like this. A nondescript, non-gendered individual identifying as them, walk into a place that serves adult beverage, end of joke. That's where they want us to go.
People have become allergic to opinions in North America in these last 5 years, and it's pretty soon like they're going to cancel everything, and all we're going to have is tall gray buildings and quiet car rides, and then we're all going to be kicking ourselves in the butt for this craziness.
He's right. You can be respectful, but respect goes both ways. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. I can respect your opinion, and we can have a discussion about it, and maybe we can see things differently and point out things that we didn't know, and we can learn something, or, as most people do nowadays, scream intolerance, scream racism, scream homophobia, scream all of the things that you want to scream, because rather than have a conversation and that may become a debate that may make you learn something new and make you feel uncomfortable, it's just easier to do that. And it's frustrating. It is. It should be frustrating to all of us. So when we talk about what's coming, there is a civil war that is a cultural civil war. And this is the stuff that we should be fighting. From humor to opinions to art to many other things, these are the things that we need to take on. And we do it in a respectful way. And most importantly, I tell everybody, you do it with facts. And you do it with respect. You don't bulldoze them. It's not going to change. But you go in there, and if you have an opinion, you let it out. And if they don't like it because of facts and they go the other way, that's fine. But this kind of stuff's insane. So insane. It totally is. Acronyms, sir. I'm like, the NAACP? ACLU? Even Ted Lieu, uber liberal left politician in California, is like, this is nuts. What is wrong? It's about looking right. It's not about doing right. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. The virus still out there. We know that. A lot of people are trying to figure out, how am I going to get this? Is this, as far as am I going to get a vaccination? Which group am I in? Am I in 1A and 1B? Well, hold on a second. I should be in this group, and that's the confusion of. That's why I keep saying Johnson & Johnson's going to be a huge win. They should be, if not this week, most likely next week, in front of the FDA with all of their data. They can roll it out. It's going to take time to ramp it up, but when it gets out there, it's going to be so much easier. Because think about this now. Trying to get yourself, for a lot of people, a vaccine. Okay, what group am I in? So out here, it's like, again, it's like Southwest. You got to go through all this stuff. Then you got to go through an antiquated, horrible model on the internet to try to book yourself something. It's just easier to go to Walgreens. AstraZeneca, why we're not using it yet is beyond me. They're using it in the UK. Why aren't we using it? We should be able to. And the good thing about AstraZeneca and what it's showing is not only does it help you prevent getting it, one of the things that they talk about when they're worried about all of this stuff is, can you give it to somebody else? So you may not get it, but could you potentially spread it? And that's the thing they believe AstraZeneca has a big advantage compared to a lot of these other ones, which is it may stop you from spreading it potentially. Quicker we get through this, the better it's going to be. Are you going to have vaccine remorse? What if you got a vaccine? Oh, man, he got the Johnson & Johnson. I had to get one shot? Ah, man, I got to still wait for my other shot. Can I go get that one? No, you can't. Why can't I go get that one? I got to wait a month. But this one's, it's right there. Oh, the AstraZeneca people got their stuff? That guy doesn't have to wear a mask anymore? Aw. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. Don't let your house be stolen. I know that sounds weird, but it happens. We live in a world of cyber criminals, and they're great at it. Eastern European has a ton of them, as well as here in America. But a lot of what's going on in the world of cybercrime right now when it comes is people stealing other people's titles to their homes, taking out loans, and a lot of them are happening in places like Eastern Europe. There's just no way for you to fight back. By the time you realize your home has essentially been stolen because they have gone through public records, found everything they needed to do through your county recorder's office. They paid a few bucks. They obtained a copy of your deed. They quit claimed it to themselves, and now they're taking out loans on your home. That's where Home Title Lock comes in. Somebody looks at your title. Right now, if you don't have anything to protect you, they look at your title, you'll never know until it's too late. If somebody looks at your title, messes with your title, even if it's the people that you have a loan with who are going to go and say, you know what, we need a comma here that we didn't put in for legal reasons, you'll be notified. Home Title Lock will notify you. You need to do this. People get evicted, people lose everything, and the court cost to fight this is insane. If somebody gets by Home Title Lock, guess what? $250,000 to help you fight it in court. Protect your home now. Home Title Lock is going to help you with that. Go to HometitleLock.com. Register your address. See if you've been a victim. If anybody's even looked at your title. Use code radio for 30 days free protection. That's code radio at HometitleLock.com. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad, headed your way.
Amazon is in a very different position today than it was 27 years ago. It is a giant company. It is facing giant questions from regulators, from politicians, and that certainly is a task that takes a lot of time and energy out of a CEO. And certainly where he's leaving, he is leaving on top. The company worth more than $1.6 trillion, the company that he built.
Yep, Bezos out. He's bouncing. Says he wants to do other things. Two guys at Google started Google, the graduates from Stanford, who decided, Sergey Brin and them, like, yeah, we've done our stuff. We're going to focus on other things. And it's what I try to tell people. Like, everybody always thinks somebody gets to this point, it's always about money. It is. Like the bean counters, the people that start that had the vision, they're always on to something else. Like Elon Musk, here's a surprise. They didn't make any money off the cars, right? The cars, that's not it's people buy the future because he's looking at bigger things. And they're always on to something else. Bezos is on to something else. He's got I think it's a One Fund or whatever it is, it's Bezos One Fund, and he's got all this other stuff he wants to do. Google's trying to figure out how they can cure death. Literally. Hey, how can we cure death? We're trying to figure out how we extend people's lives, but not extend it. It's like, hey, we want you to be 140, but you're still crapping your pants. You can't move anywhere. No, we want you to be 140 and fine. You've got Elon Musk, who is saying that by the end of this year, the chip implant. And so here we go. Like, this is Matrix. We'll be ready. And we'll be in people's brains. People are like, oh my God. Well, it sounds like, wouldn't it be great that you could learn how to do everything in like an hour? Wouldn't it be, hey, download Kung Fu. I want to learn how to do Kung Fu. And I would say download Kung Fu. And next thing you know, I'd have all 4 seasons of Kung Fu. But that's different. And I would love them all too, by the way, because Kane was a badass. But what they're looking to do first is, how can we help people's Alzheimer's, and how can we help people who are paralyzed, who have diseases where they struggle with mobility. They're on to other things. And it's about achievement. Some people, it's always about money. It's about achievement. But with that achievement comes success, but also with that achievement comes risk. SpaceX yesterday, right? They got to space again and came back down and crashed. It's 2 in a row. 2 for 2 on that one. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. It's Marilyn Manson's an interesting cat, and he's in trouble. They've dumped him from all of his stuff. He finally reacted. So if you guys know who Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, he's an interesting character. He's always come with controversy. He's courted it. He's used it for his career. He's built it up. But sounds like he's done some stuff. And women have accused him of some pretty heinous things. And he finally reacted and gave his side of the story, if you will, a response.
At least 5 women came forward Monday claiming sexual, physical, and mental abuse at the hands of Marilyn Manson, including former girlfriend and Westworld star Evan Rachel Wood. Manson responded Monday night with a post on Instagram saying the claims are horrible distortions of reality. He claims his relationships have been entirely consensual with like-minded partners, and that's the truth, despite how others, he says, are choosing to misrepresent the past. But many are backing away from Manson, including his record label, AMC, and Tuesday he was dropped by talent agency CAA.
Yeah, Creative Artists Agency. And he had a Shudder, Amazon Prime, Creep Show thing that was supposed to come out, and they've delayed that or kicked that to the curb. And where were they before? I think that's a fair question to ask. At the same time, what are you going to do? Are there charges coming, or is this, we said this now, and you deal with your life that way? And that's the thing. Is there closure with any of this stuff? And then you got Armie Hammer, who's saying he wants to eat people. I mean, this is insanity. Maybe the Q people were right. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The record is very clear. Republicans supported more money for schools since last summer, a full $105 billion to get our kids back to school. In fact, the Senate Republicans' targeted coronavirus bill included more money for schools than Speaker Pelosi included in her bloated liberal wish list. For months, Senate Democrats obstructed, delayed, dragged their feet. For months, Democrats played politics with coronavirus relief. And all that time, families across America suffered.
Yeah, John Barrasso right there, speaking it up, Senator, talking about what? Getting kids back in school. We want to get kids back in school. You want to know when we're going to hit that normal range of like, what's going on? I feel like we could do stuff. It's when kids are in school. When kids are in school, when you don't have to think, God, another Zoom class that they're not going to pay attention to. Oh, God. We started school, but then somebody had an outbreak, so they're shutting down the school. Nope. When kids are in school, and yeah, the Republicans want to throw some more money at it. Here's the thing. It's not just about that. Think about this, too. You've got a lot of teachers union out there who see this as an opportunity to do a bunch of different things. We need more money for this. Otherwise, we're not going to the classroom. Wait a minute. We let you jump to the front of the line, but now you say you don't want to go to the classroom? Well, why should we give you a second shot? We have other people that want to get out there and work. And we protect teachers, right? Like they're like, oh, they're teachers, and because they hang out with our kids, and we all know what pain in the ass our kids are. And by and large, 95% of them are amazing. There's a suck factor in every industry in the world. Depending on the industry, 5 to 10%. But a majority of teachers really damn good, and they want to be in the classroom. But in big cities and states across the country that tend to lean blue, you've got unions that control a lot of things, and they're not interested in one singular thing. They see opportunity like this, and fair play to them. It's a business chance. Strike while the iron's hot. I get it. There's a great piece the other day, I think it was in the Washington Post, that said, let's just be honest, teachers, you don't want to go to the classroom until there's no more COVID. For some, it is that way. And the way that we protect them, though, is like, well, they're teachers. And then I'm like, well, what about the person who is bagging your groceries or putting those groceries on the shelves or making sure that your car has gas to get from point A to point B, who's working in the convenience store or who's selling you food at the fast food joint? Well, yeah, it's like everything, right? As we talk about this in Woke Wednesdays, there's just some things that you just can't say something about that. You can't say something. No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that we need kids back in school. Some of the stuff that Trump said, I know he's evil and he's orange, and nobody liked him, but some people did, about the cure being worse than the disease. And at times, there's plenty of that to go around, especially when it comes to children. And I have a feeling when we finally emerge from this and the fog is lifted and the data comes in, we're going to find out that we did a lot of things wrong when it comes to the way that we lock down, we over lock down. And we're going to find out a lot about schools and kids and how bad this really affected them. Because it's hard to tell now. And talk about the disparity and the way that things are going. If you're a poor kid right now who needed school for a lot of things, like food, and to actually get the education, but now you're at home with your brother and your sister, and all of you have some sort of Zoom class. You don't have the internet. You have one thing to share. Talk about the rich getting richer and the spread going on. It sucks. We need to get kids back in school. I think that's number one. We got to figure out how this budget works. Who's getting what? Can we actually do the real and right thing when it comes to this by making sure we target the areas that are right, but at the same time, we don't overspend, because the Democrats are going to come back and ask for more.
So here's where I think we're headed. It looks like the majority is going to have us vote on the motion to proceed to the budget. They've chosen a totally partisan path. I can't remember a budget in the time that I've been here that either side has ever voted in a bipartisan way. So we're off to a totally partisan start.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell there. And it's true. And you've got now a power sharing deal for the Democrat-controlled Senate. And Schumer and the Democrats have control of all the committees. So the investigations, all that stuff, they're the ones who are in control. Give and take. Is there some give there to get take now? We'll find out. But it's about not only getting this under control, but with people who, by and large, a lot of polls and a lot of studies are saying people are optimistic that this year is going to be good for them financially because they're expecting a rebound and a bounce. All of that starts by getting through this, getting the monies into the hands that people need. And at the same time, not overdoing it and coming back and asking for it more, potentially putting us in a situation of inflation, things like that. We don't want that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I love movies. You know that. I know that. We all know that. I've seen virtually none of these.
The Golden Globes really liked Mank.
Please call me Mank.
The Netflix drama about the writing of Citizen Kane scored the most Golden Globe nominations of any film, 6. It's up for Best Drama against The Father, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. And women making history in the directing category, 3 women nominated, a first.
But we are fighting for our lives.
Regina King for One Night in Miami, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. The Globes air February 28th on NBC.
I've never seen one of those. One Night in Miami I will probably watch. That looks great. About one night in Miami where you had the who's who of, at that time, Black America. You had Malcolm X and you had, Ali, and it was amazing. And you look at that and you're like, wow, that's incredible. Right? Jim Brown, Sam Cooke. That movie looks good. I've never heard of 99% of those. I had a buddy who just texted me. It's like, dude, did you see? He goes, I've never seen any of these. Have you ever heard of any of these? I said, no. I said, no. It's Hollywood. This year, I'm telling you, the Oscars, I saw one movie in the theater, and it was Sonic. To me, that should be the movie of the year. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. Yesterday, while all of the stuff was going on in the battle of the budget, the stimulus, all of these things, Biden was busy signing.
Today I'm going to sign a few executive orders to strengthen the immigration system, building on the executive actions I took on day one to protect dreamers and to end the Muslim ban and to better manage our borders. And that's what these three different executive orders are about.
All right, so some of the stuff he has done. He went out, talked about, the usual stuff. Trump's evil, Trump's bad. Reuniting kids, I think we're all absolutely in favor of that. There's a lot of stuff in here, though, that once again is ridiculous. To me, catch and release.
President Biden has issued another round of executive orders, this time focusing on immigration. And what he's doing is he's basically reinstating the catch and release program with regard to the asylum program. So people can come, declare asylum status, they're going to be released into the interior again.
And they know that. That's Andy Biggs. He's got enough issues right now with the whole Capitol insurgency thing where some people are dragging him into it. I think it's more Paul Gosar of Arizona than it is Andy Biggs, but he definitely has, he's been a strong supporter of Trump, and he's huge on immigration. I was down at the border with him for a couple days, and Matt Gaetz, there's a winner, and it's insane. And he'll tell you, he's honest, and I'm going to try to get him on in the next couple days about the fact that, hey, we can have sympathy and we can have understanding, but there's ways of going about doing things. And we need to figure out how we do this right. And once again, we're trying to, instead of patching up the ship and not letting it sink, we're trying to make sure that everybody's on board, has tickets, that they're in their assigned places, and asking them if there's anything we can do for them while the whole continues. And you can't do it that way. That's insane. Our best buddy, John Kennedy.
Vetting people at the border, as every country does, is not racist. It's prudent. I looked at President Biden's executive orders. I support his efforts to try to reunite kids with their parents. Who wouldn't? But the rest of his executive orders don't seem to make a distinction between legal and illegal immigration.
No such thing as illegal immigration because nobody's illegal. Remember, they're just are they non-citizens? Something of that nature. It's the new PC thing to say. Fix the issue of illegal immigration, and we go from there. I think most people, right or left, are like, yeah, let's figure out how people can come here and work easier, freer, how people can get opportunities to come here and work, whether it's for a week or two or for a year. Most of us are like, yeah, that's great. DACA. I think we're all on board with DACA. But the insanity of saying, I'm going to give a pathway, I'm going to get rid of this over here, which was catch and release. So all you have to say is asylum. And now we're going to just, there you go. Catch and release. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It works for the Democrats. It works for the people who are using it, but it doesn't work. There's better ways of doing it. But once again, we're not addressing the things that need to be addressed in a real way. Make things easier. We're the most open nation when it comes to legal immigration. It's not even close. But we're super open when it comes to illegal immigration, and there is no differentiating the two. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Let's talk about it. ExpressVPN. It's time for you to protect your data. Your data. You. Don't you want to control it? What I look for, I choose to look for. Nobody else needs to know that, so they can sell me off and make money off me and my searches. ExpressVPN. So do everything they can and then some to make sure that doesn't happen, that you keep your data and your privacy as yours. You anonymize much of your online presence, which is great. You hide your IP address, makes your activity completely difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. As well as that, ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of your data. It protects you from eavesdroppers, and you know that can happen out there on your network. You don't want that. And it couldn't be easier. ExpressVPN app is so easy. One click on the computer, on your phone, and you're protected. Take back your privacy now with ExpressVPN, the only one I trust. ExpressVPN.com/Benson. You visit that link, super inexpensive. I think it's 16 cents a day for a year package, and you get an extra 3 months. ExpressVPN.com/Benson. ExpressVPN.com/Benson to protect your data today. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's find out what's trending on the interwebs, shall we? Chad, was that racist? You just did like a Swedish accent? I don't know. What if it was a cartoon character Swedish accent? Is that because you can do that, right? You can do anything you want if it's a cartoon, as if their cartoons are just themselves. Oh, Chad. Let's see here. Golden Globes are set. Nominations are out. We touched on a little bit earlier. I have seen none of them. I may see one. Probably not. Just because that's not my stuff. You know that. You know that. Morgan Wallen, country star, is embarrassed and sorry. He dropped the N-bomb. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. Your career's over, I guess, is how that goes. Is that how that goes now? We still have to figure out if, especially on Woke Wednesday, is there a chance at redemption? Should there be redemption? Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick is honored the ceremony at the Capitol Hill. Currently trending on Twitter. Head on over to Google. Jeff Bezos, he's out, but not really. He just moves. He just changed the name on his door to something else. He's still there as far as CEO, but he's on to doing something else. Andy Jassy is elevated. He was in charge of their web services. He's going to take over. SpaceX SN9 prototype. If you haven't seen it, man, it blew up big. Huge. Amazon stock. What's that like? Trending right now. As well as, yes, GameStop and the never-ending battle of GameStop. The stock. What's going to happen with that? It's up a little bit, but still, where was it earlier? Goodness me. Let's just go back a few days, shall we? It's high. Man, it was rolling at 347. It's down over 200 plus bucks, but still probably $87 higher than it should be. And the question is now, what are people going to do with that? There's a lot of people who are trying to figure out what to do, how to invest, and we're going to touch on that because investing is amazing. Yes, there's risk, but there's also reward, and it goes back to understanding all kinds of things. The group that's going to suffer here the most, the investors that got in late, and we'll talk about that, and then one company in particular is really going to suffer. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, your Instagram. Chad Benson Show TV on the YouTube. Check out Facebook as well. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If you miss it by a few days to a week or two, I don't think that's a big problem, as the CDC says. But I'd be concerned about delaying it for 3 months or so.
Yeah, your second dosage. Get out and get it if you have a chance. But most importantly, it's time for people who have the opportunity in states that say, hey, you know what? We don't know when we're going to get our next shipment. We're having issues, to start to get those shots into other people's arms, because some protection is better than no protection.
It looks like as we're getting through February into March, we're going to get a much steadier supply or cadence of vaccine coming in. Certainly, you don't want vaccines sitting around in the refrigerator or in the freezer if they're ready to go. You want to give them to people.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Fauci there. I agree 110%. It's time to get it going. So let's get it going. Smokers right now, CDC has prioritized smokers. So wait a minute. You make bad choices, now you get to go in front of me? How's this? Well, because they're, let me guess, because they're not healthy enough, they have some issues and it takes them longer to recover, and or they get sick-er quicker. Exactly. You needed a study for that? Good God. That's why we can't have nice things, people. This right here, among other things, is why we can't have nice things. It's ridiculous. It's frustrating. I think we all agree with that. Let's get it into people's arms. Let's get it to places where people know what they're doing. The private side of the world. Let's remember why we don't have as many dosages as we do with this. Not because they're not producing them. No, it's logistics, a lot of different things that went into it. They're selling to the rest of the globe. And, you know, Trump, in fairness, he bought forward, but then he didn't buy everything. And that's okay. But when he had a chance and we knew all of this stuff was going to work, instead of doing that, he was still out looking to see if there was a way he could fix the election. And it never happened. It didn't. Get into the hands of companies and people who know what they're doing.
My Walgreens is pretty busy. Will this be an out in the parking lot kind of thing? And who will handle the crowds and decide who can go and who can't?
That it's going to be scheduled and appointments are going to be the way that we want to do this. Safety is the number one thing that we need to make sure that we're doing. And all protocol states that we have to have time to monitor patients after the vaccine as well. So there won't be crowds. It's going to be scheduled. We'll make sure we have appropriate time and spacing for those getting the vaccine. Once they know that they're scheduled, we'll make sure that our healthcare professionals are there to give them the vaccine and monitor them appropriately.
There you go. Walgreens, we're going to roll it out to there. Other companies are stepping up that also are in the pharmaceutical industry. They're coming together to help out in distribution and getting this thing out. And Johnson & Johnson, that's the one I continue to say is the game changer because it is one shot. Well, geez, Chad, you make it seem like we're a nation of convenience. That's it. We're a nation of convenience. If you can do a single, so wait, I got to come back twice, and I have to schedule, and I have to wait. You know what? I'll just go with this one. It's easier. You know it. I know it. Let's not. We all know it. So I get so many people, like, they ask me, Chad, which one would you rather do? Well, one thing they said yesterday with the coronavirus is if you've had it, so you test positive for the antibodies, whether you were asymptomatic or you had it, you had to fight the whole 9 yards, that you probably only need a dose anyways. Well, that's great. Well, I've test positive, so that one for me is a no-brainer. But you also, convenience is important to all of us. That's why, like, we're going to talk about GameStop. One of the reasons that people are getting into investing is convenience now. With Robinhood and a bunch of these other ones, everything has become gamified. It's right at your fingertips. You push a button and you go. Same thing with this. Convenience. Like, a Johnson & Johnson that you can go to your Walgreens like you could a flu shot, a shingle shot, any of these things. It is convenient. I can do it on my time. And we like that. Plus, there's less headache and frustration fighting through websites, doing all this stuff where it just becomes convoluted and frustrating. We are a nation of convenience. Nothing wrong with that. Just being honest. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you, good and bad. Again, it's Woke Wednesday. We get people that get mad at us all the time about all kinds of stuff, and I'm great with that. I like having conversations. I like that we can disagree about things. You know, when the GameStop thing first kind of, started to ramp up, I had people that were attacking me because they're saying, well, you sound like you're for the hedge funds. I'm not for any of them. I'm not. I'm just going to give you the straight skinny on how this thing's going to play out. Dave Portnoy's been out there yelling, screaming, Barstool Sports. I like a lot of the stuff he says. He's upset about a lot of the stuff that has gone on with Robinhood. So the people that jumped into this, and we've talked about investing is great. Saturday, my little brother and I, because he's really interested in investing, and we're going to walk through like some of the basics. Like, you did this for years and you traded. Can you show me how some of the? I said, yeah. He goes, I don't want to do anything I don't know about. And I said, it's not hard to do. But like everything else, you got to make some sort of commitment. You got to find out, what's your risk reward, those kind of, we've gone through some of the stuff about that. And you also have to understand what is happening. Dave Portnoy was really upset, as were a lot of people, about Robinhood. And did they screw over the little guy?
I also still haven't been answered why, when you said you couldn't buy the stock, or are you allowed to sell it? What I read in the interview and heard with Elon is Vlad said, well, people get very angry and upset if they have to hold the stock and can't sell it. Well, what do you think they're going to do when you cratered it? So there's a lot of things to me that still just don't add up.
Right.
And again, if you're using logic and reason, they'll never add up. We're treating these people like infants. I mean, it's very straightforward that there's a stock market can go up and down.
Yeah, it can go up and down, and it does go up and down. And you could sell the stock because there was no risk to Robinhood at that point. Yesterday, silver, right? There's a lot of volatility in there because a lot of companies have shorted silver companies and their stocks because they believe there's too much silver available. And because there's too much available, obviously the stock, the price is going to be driven down. And so it was, let's go get silver, right? We're going to attack silver. We're going to go after silver. And this is, and you go back to, okay, why are you investing? Are you investing because you want to make money, or are you investing because you want to get revenge on people? And we touched a bit on that yesterday because a lot of people, it feels like it's a revenge thing. And a lot of it stems from 2008 and the bank bailouts. I got so many people like, you don't understand, Chad. I'm like, I do understand. I totally get it. But why are you investing? If your goal is to get back at them, then actually learn what you're doing and go out and make money. But revenge is one of those things where it's like, why are you interested in revenge? And that's a lot of what goes on nowadays in this world of wokeness, where I believe it's more about punishment than it is whether or not somebody, hey, you shouldn't do that. Or, look, I was offended by that, or you shouldn't say that. And rather than have a conversation, show the people like why you shouldn't. And some people, we all know they should be canceled. Right? We all know, if you will. I mean, there's repercussions for certain things. We get that. But for a lot of it, it's about punishment. And that's a lot of what this became. Punishment. Somebody used the internet in such a brilliant way through Wall Street Bets and a few other places to get people pumped up, especially a lot of young men who were able to get excited, and they used it more as a let's get them scenario rather than, you know what, I don't care about them. I care about doing my thing. And it's brilliant. Everybody listening should invest. Everybody listening, if you have a chance to put money away, not just in your 401k, but take actual steps to securing your future and doing things, it's great. Understand there's risk reward. Understand your age and all of those things. But do it for the reason that's real, not because, I'm going to show them. But like investing has become woke. That's stupid. We say it all the time. Would you rather be rich or would you rather be right? I'll take rich. Along the way, you're going to be right as well, because you can't get right without being rich. But for so many people, it became something else, and they're getting their asses handed to it. And Robinhood's going to end up paying the biggest price of all. Didn't have the money. They weren't liquid. They were insolvent when they started raising the amount of money that had to be on hand for people to make trades. And they did it yesterday with several other brokerage firms when it came to silver. So it wasn't just Robinhood. They didn't expect this. The lawsuits are coming in, and they've borrowed, close to $4 billion. And if you're an investor in that company thinking you're going to have an IPO soon, you're looking at this going, oh, my God, are we just throwing good money after bad money at this point? I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Chuck Schumer speaks about what? They own it all now.
Committees can promptly set up and get to work with Democrats holding the gavels.
Yeah. So the Democrats now have control, power sharing agreement, but they are in control of the committees. The investigations, all the things that they want to do, everything is now in their hands. The power of putting out the best people and winning the elections. And this is one of those things you can point right at Trump and said, you cost Georgia for the Democrats. David Perdue didn't do a lot. Loeffler didn't do enough. But the reality is all the hubbub, insanity, it's a you thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Whether I'm working out, and I do a lot of different things. I think we all know that. I always tell you guys I play golf, play soccer. So inside here today, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to go put my Raycons on. I'm listening to a couple cool audiobooks, and I set up a little fake golf course on this side of the building because nobody's over here, and it's just wide open. So I got little things, and I got those little rubber balls. It's great. I walk around, I listen to my music, I listen to my podcast, I listen to all the stuff. Not my podcast, but because that'd be weird. And it's my Raycons, and it's just great. Comfortable, stylish. I've got 2 video conference calls later. And guess what? I'll wear those. They'll hear me. I'll hear them. Noise, craziness outside of there, they won't hear. The sound quality, the design, and the fit set Raycon apart, and the price. Normally, $300, $250. You're going to get stems. You're going to get wires. You don't want that. Raycons are it. Get yours now. Save big. Well under $100. Save 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
According to authorities, federal agents were serving a search warrant in Sunrise, Florida. They knocked to announce their presence, and when there was no answer, reached the door, immediately coming under rifle fire. Authorities say the suspected gunman was being looked into as part of a child pornography investigation.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrific. 2 FBI agents dead, as is the shooter. They're looking to see, how did he know what was going on? They think he had cameras and things set up, and that somehow he was alerted and was ready to go. And it's a horrible, horrible situation. But once again, it highlights what police go through, whether they're in the FBI and law enforcement or the everyday average officer. Yeah, yesterday we sat here, we talked about that cop, those cops who sprayed that little 9-year-old girl with pepper spray in the incentive. But we go back to, we ask police officers in so many ways, especially the everyday average police officer, can you be a drug counselor? Is that possible? Can you also be a marriage counselor? Is that possible? Can you be a big brother and a homeless advocate and so many other things? And like shark attacks, we rarely hear about it unless there is a shark attack, right? So cops can have 1 million run-ins in a month. We'll hear about the one that's awful. We won't hear about the other 999,999 that weren't. Because the media can do whatever it is. And if there's a narrative there, if there's a narrative that can help them with whatever they want to push out there, they're fine with that. You know, the beauty of Trump, right, was he was a great foil for them. He was a pain in their ass. He was orange. And I think we dig too deep into, they hated him this or they hated. Let me tell you what Trump was. Trump was a lot of things that they say he was. He probably was. Some of them we know. But he was also somebody that didn't have to kiss their ring. He was also somebody who didn't, through Twitter and everything else, have to use the media to get his message out. And he fought with the media, and he was a pain in the butt. And they decided what to cover and what not to. And they many cases, anything that he did was good was rarely covered, if ever. And if it was bad or it was sounded bad or the tweet was read in such a way and somebody took it that way, it became something big. And that's the way it goes. How can you take something and run with it and make it something huge? And the media helps in that in a lot of ways. And both sides have their media they turn to. And in many cases, the medias they turn to use the other media that goes against what they're saying to either chastise or make fun of what the other media is saying. It's insane. And by the way, Trump, just for those guys who are curious, if he was anything to the media, CNN's down 50% since he's left office. MSNBC's not too far behind. And Fox staying steady, down a little bit. But apparently the orange man drew eyeballs. And in the world of business, outside of their news, he was good for business. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So here's where I think we're headed. It looks like the majority is going to have us vote on the motion to proceed to the budget. They've chosen a totally partisan path. I can't remember a budget in the time that I've been here that either side has ever voted in a bipartisan way. So we're off to a totally partisan start.
Yeah, partisan start, not a shocker. This is what it's all about. It's politics. You have partisanship. You've got the things you want to do. They've got the things they want to do. At the end of the day, everybody wants to do their own thing. You got to go back to your constituents. Most important, you got to go back to your party. Make sure that you're raising money, trying to get reelected, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to the amount of money they want to spend, usually when they come to some sort of bipartisan agreement, it usually means, oh, my God, we've all agreed. Rather than take some stuff out, that we could spend all your money. How great is that? Because it's other people's money. Government's the only place where you have more money, less problems. Are they going to come to an agreement? Yeah, eventually. And the agreement will be whatever the Democrats want. The Democrats control everything. The power is now in their hands because the power sharing agreement allows that to happen. They finally come to a power sharing agreement, which means a lot of different things.
I am happy to report this morning that the leadership of both parties have finalized the organizing resolution for the Senate.
What's that mean? Committees, investigations, going forward, the things they want to look at, Democrats control it.
Committees can promptly set up and get to work with Democrats holding the gavels.
To them, they're going to be stoked, they're going to be happy, but it also goes to show you that the Republicans are going to have to pick and choose the battles that they really want. The help that they're going to get is from Joe Manchin and right now Kyrsten Sinema, because both of them are against getting rid of the filibuster. So it's the pick and choose parts. Right now, I think they're going to do everything they can to fight throwing away insane kind of money, knowing full well that 3 months from now, they're probably going to ask for more because we're still going to be probably meandering through this COVID insanity. And some states will be doing fine. Other states will be sucking. And because of that, there's still going to be a need. So, they're going to come back and go to the well one more time.
Count me in for more payments, direct payments beyond $600. Count me out for giving $2,000 payments to people that make almost $200,000 a year. I think it needs to be more targeted. I don't mind having more direct payments. I'd like to make it less targeted. And I don't mind discussing raising the minimum wage when the COVID problem passes and we get back on our feet. I do mind doubling it in the middle of a pandemic. And I do believe that this $1.9 trillion package is going to do more harm than good to the American economy.
Yeah. The focus needs to be where it needs to be. It's the American people. You want to talk about bailing the states out? It's time that we start slimming these bills down. I'm not talking about taking a bunch of money out. I'm talking about where we need it to be targeted for when we need it. The American people, businesses first, making sure we have enough money and then some when it comes to getting kids back in school and, yes, getting the vaccine out there and available to everybody. Comes to bailing out the states, and many of them who've put way too much money into pensions and unfunded liabilities, and they've shut down completely, and now the tax dollars have dried up, and they're spending more money on people that are retired than are actually working. That's a them problem at this point. Can be fixed in a month or two. What are they going to do? Are they going to tow California away? Is somebody going to come in and go, hey, by the way, California, you defaulted, so we're here to repo you? It's not going to happen. So let's focus where we need to be focused at this moment. The individual, the everyday, that matters most. About getting kids back in school, you know that, and I know that. That's most important. Absolutely most important. We can go from there. It's the way it should be. It won't be because it's too easy to battle, to argue, to fight. It's where the money's at. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. On the not-so-political side, which I love, Golden Globes were announced. We talked earlier about the movies, of which I've seen none of them. What about television?
A royal showing for The Crown.
All I want is to be loved.
The Netflix drama scored the most Golden Globe nominations, 6, up for Best Drama against fellow Netflix shows Ozark and Ratchet, Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, and HBO's Lovecraft Country. The second most nominated show.
Yay!
What is happening? Emmy darling S. Creek in its last season, up for Best Comedy against a slew of first-year shows. Emily in Paris, The Flight Attendant, The Great, and Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, I've seen S. Creek. It's funny that they have to say that. It's called Schitt's Creek. It's not a bad word. The way it's spelled. SCHITS. That's the name of their last name. That's funny. Eugene Levy is amazing. Ted Lasso I want to see. that looks great, and it's up my alley. It's a soccer team in Europe, in England, and they bring over like a college football coach. Like think about, Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney going over and coaching the soccer. Doesn't know anything, but it looks really interesting, and I'm surprised I haven't watched that. Outside of that, I've not seen any of them. I'm like, are they Gunsmoke? Is this golf? No, I don't know any of it. But TV, man, they still rolled through, and Netflix is killing it. Here's a perfect example of they adapted. So when everybody else pulled back, they're like, all right, let's adapt. We have a lot of stuff, and we were going to release it in different ways. We're still going to get some stuff out there. But you know what? Let's buy the best stuff we possibly can. Let's go out there and let's release big and do it. Let's take this on big time and run straight at it. And they have done that. And they've adapted in this time when other companies really struggled. And I think it shows you the flaws in the movie industry at this moment in time, which is the antiquated way of we're going to do one big movie, a couple other ones. We're going to release them here. We're going to take them there. Netflix is just like, more is more. And some of it's slop. Some of it's good. It is. And and their business model is still booming. Even though I've got Peacock. The reason I got Peacock is, and I've got Disney Plus, got the kids, they like Disney Plus. But Amazon Prime, I didn't get it for the movies. I got it for the free shipping. And because I can go on and just have stuff mailed to me in like 10 minutes. But the beauty of Netflix is there's still so much of it. Even though things are going over here, they're going over there. Like the only reason I got Peacock is because NBC Sports moved some of their Premier League soccer over there. So I'm like, all right, you guys got me. But then NBC Sports decided they were going to close this year. And now everything's going over there. So I'm like, all right, now I really have to. But it's Netflix is still the king, and they're going to continue. And there's a disruptor like Amazon was. Like Amazon's a huge disruptor in the industry. Let's remember how Amazon started. We should talk about that because Bezos announced something yesterday. And I just find it interesting because we look at Amazon as evil and bad, and they're the perfect example of all that's wrong. Yet it's all that's right, too, with the world. But let's think about how he started this thing 27 years ago, what it was supposed to be originally, and what it's become. Because the whole thing to me is fascinating. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Got some Super Bowl talk as well. Always fun. Woke Wednesday, we got some good woke stuff. Maybe Mickey will stop by because they're getting woker at Disneyland. Oh, no. Not yet, Mickey. I'm just saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show Twitter. Tweet at us. AMAC Association, Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. Amazing opportunity when you join AMAC. It's pennies a day. I think it's $16 a year. Right? So for $16 a year, you get all kinds of benefits. And I'm talking about, like serious benefits for things such as, hey, I got a need for life insurance, or I have a need for travel, or I'd like to get cheap discounts on movie passes when they open, amusement parks when they open, things of that nature. On top of that, they'll answer any kind of question you have for things like Medicare, Social Security. They're fighting to make sure those things are solvent. And should you need help with signing up for those, they'll walk you through the steps. Benefits are amazing. They're out there fighting for you for common sense immigration reform, things like Medicare and Social Security, making sure it's untouched and it's solvent. Join today, $16 a year, amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad, amac.us/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups
cakes and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, Bob! Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
Amazon is in a very different position today than it was 27 years ago. It is a giant company. It is facing giant questions from regulators, from politicians, and that certainly is a task that takes a lot of time and energy out of a CEO. And certainly where he is leaving on top, the company worth more than $1.6 trillion, the company that he built.
Yeah, so Jeff Bezos announced yesterday he's on to bigger and better things as far as he's concerned. He's bouncing. He's had his time there. It's time to turn over the reins. He's going to turn it over to Andy Jassy.
He's obviously not only been deeply entrenched in very important technologies like cloud computing, but also artificial intelligence and other really important new technologies. But he brings that competency now into this new role.
Yeah. But think about this, right? Like we look at, Bezos now, and he is he's evil, right? Isn't that the way everybody looks at Bezos? It's like, you're evil. But he's done a lot of different things. He has done a ton of stuff with Amazon.
What Jeff Bezos really showed the world is how technology can transform a market. When applied in the right ways and at the right pace, technology can transform an industry, really any industry.
Any industry. And it's insane. So let's go back. Started a while ago. Jeff Bezos did Amazon in 1994. He went to Seattle. The reason was simple. Microsoft was there, skilled technicians in the computing world were there. So I thought, well, he's going to go there. May 97, they went public. But what were they started as? Well, they were going to be this bit. No, they were started as a bookseller and reseller of books. And their goal originally was, we're not going to have any. We're going to essentially be a facilitator of putting point A to point B. You want to buy this book over here? We've got somebody over here that's got this book. We'll put you two together, sell it. I'll take a little bit of it. Lo and behold, they're like, oh, we're not going to have any warehouses. You watch how this is done. They became the world's biggest warehouse owners. But where it started and where it is now, over time, because he knew he had to transform to keep up. He knew that over and over again. It began selling music, then it began selling videos. Then from there, it started to grow into video games, electronics, home improvement items, software, games, toys. And here we are now. For all the insanity of how bad and evil is, do you know how many millionaires he's made? And I'm not talking about people who work there and have stock. I'm talking about people who make a living selling and reselling and doing things on Amazon. E-commerce, cloud computing, digital streaming, artificial intelligence, information technology, and everything in between. That's where he came. And he did it all because there was the opportunity to have the internet. GameStop exploded the other day. Why? Because of the internet. People banded together and tried to do something, and it's going to probably bite a good majority of them in the ass, but you saw the power of it. This last election and the election before that. The power of what the internet can do and how it can bring people together for good and for bad is amazing. The influence, people talk about, nobody's influenced by stars. Influencers are real. I see it with my son. Oh my God, Kalis is drinking Bang, Dad. I want to get Bang. It's this drink that's like this awful. It's not awful. I mean, I don't like any of this energy drinks. I don't drink Red Bull. I don't drink any of it. But it comes in stuff like, it's birthday cake and it's all this stuff. But he loves it. It's great. He would never have found it though without that. The internet is massive, and it's so incredible. And this guy keyed into it in a way that was just so amazing. And along the way, it made him beyond rich, richer than you could ever dream of. I mean, just insanity. The amount of money he makes a second is insane. And this is the beauty of where we are now in today's world. Even with COVID, all of these things, opportunities abound. And this guy said, I'm going to resell books. Now it's worth almost $2 trillion. He's the richest man on the planet. And if you asked him today, none of that means anything. Because from here on out, it's about tomorrow and what he wants to do. Elon Musk, you ask him about the cars and all that stuff, he doesn't care. He wants to go to space. Opportunities are there. And I just always find it fascinating. I love studying people who are successful. To me, it's there. And yeah, do they do stuff because they're so big? Of course, they're a target on their back, tax avoidance, all of this kind of stuff, anti-competitive behavior. And we all bitch about it. Oh, my God, I can't believe how horrible they are to this, that, and the other. And then at the same time, we go right back on Amazon and we're like, oh, my God, I could have this delivered to me by tomorrow morning. And it's going to cost me less than if I went into a brick and mortar store. Oh, that's great. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. What's your first thing you ever bought on Amazon? I'll tell you mine a little bit. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Today I'm going to sign a few executive orders to strengthen the immigration system, building on the executive actions I took on day one to protect dreamers and to end the Muslim ban and to better manage our borders. And that's what these three different executive orders are about.
Biden yesterday. So he's going out there and he's going to fix immigration by not having immigration laws. Sounds good. Chad, that's not true. Pretty much kind of is. We're back to the catch and release thing, which we all know is a joke.
Vetting people at the border, as every country does, is not racist. It's prudent. I looked at President Biden's executive orders. I support his efforts to try to reunite kids with their parents. I mean, who wouldn't? But the rest of his executive orders don't seem to make a distinction between legal and illegal immigration.
And we need to figure it out. I mean, I think there's, outside of a few people who are just way out there on both sides who like, let's lock everybody up, throw them out, da-da-da. And then the other people are like, let everybody in. Outside of that, most people realize we need common sense immigration reform, that we stick to the laws that we have. Otherwise, why even have them in place? That we do have a problem at the border. Yes, we can address ways for people to get in here, especially in a temporary way to earn money. I have zero problems with that. We need to address the fact, though, that the border wall is a sieve and the catch and release thing didn't work. Who did that work for? I've been down to the border at McAllen. Shout out to our big friends out there, KURV. Love being out there. It was great, Sergio and everybody. I've been out there. They took us for rides. We went down there to the Rio Grande. We're there. We're watching people cross. We're seeing people in trees with phones, radioing ahead, come, go, stay. We see what's happening. Humans are smuggling, and then humans are also part of the merchandise. I've been out here. So where I live, I'll give you guys a snapshot in the immigration world of where I live. When you come out of my little home, I live exactly dead smack between Phoenix and Tucson. Like dead smack. When you get off the freeway and you go into my little neighborhood, it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 miles down. You drive through a bunch of like cotton fields. And then all of a sudden, you turn left, you go into my complex. It's just my little neighborhood, right? When you come out, if I turn right, I go to the freeway. If I turn left, about a mile or two, I'm in the Tohono on a Indian reservation, and in a straight shot, within a couple hours, I'm at the Sea of Cortez. All my neighbors, all the people I go to church with, all the guys that I hang out with, my church group and everything, they're all Border Patrol. All of them minus our youth pastor that I hang out with. All of them are Border Patrol. And they'll tell you, first of all, does the wall help? Somewhat. Does the electronic side of the wall help? No. Because there's so few of them, and it's so vast, that by the time they get an alert, in some cases, especially when it comes to being on tribal land, the chances of them getting there are slim to none. Why? Well, the tribes don't let them put up anything. They don't let them build, in many cases, roads. So they've got ATVs, and it goes, it might take you an hour to get to where that was. By the time you get there, they're gone. So a lot of it is stumbling on and just trying to figure out, what, who, when, how. And they all have hearts. But they all want to have a situation where we have common sense reform. And it's not about whether if you say, oh, you don't want immigration because no, it's not about that. It's a racist. Shut up. That's your go-to. But you're insane if you think that. It's about having real reform and then putting in place opportunities and laws that will allow people to come here on an easier basis, on a temporary basis, and at the same time, to enforce the laws that when you do come here illegally, that there are repercussions for that. But instead, we will do nothing. We will put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And neither side is really sold on fixing this. I think the Democrats would like to fix it in a way that it helps them politically long-term. But for the last decade, 2-3 decades, the political, I guess you'd say the political money has been about the immigration fight. That's where the win is. Nobody wants to fix it because to them it's not broken. It is a hot button issue that they can go to time and time again to raise money, to castigate the other side, and to get people to get out and vote. So in their mind, it wasn't broken. But it's gotten to the point now where they realize, all right, it's top heavy. We need to do something. Trump tried his wall. He did some things really good. He did some things. The separation of the families it wasn't good. It didn't go well, and it became an issue for a little bit because, then we're on to something else. But we need to do better. And as Americans, we want that. We want to have empathy, but we don't want to be run over. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. It is Woke Wednesday. You can't get any woker than, San Francisco. And you can't get any woker than white privilege being evil.
What do you see when you see an older man in giant mittens, Bernie Sanders at the inauguration? But if you say, that's proof of white privilege, then you're an attention-seeking teacher pushing a mind cult. A public school teacher in an op-ed says that Bernie's mittens and puffy jacket embodied white, male, and class privilege. But his apparel at that event proved systemic racism. So how do you know when you're in a cult? When one claim addresses every aspect of life. If you can see white privilege anywhere, then you've got it on the brain.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh. You ever notice, too, that more often than not, people that scream white privilege are white people that are enjoying privilege who feel if they scream loud enough about the privilege that they have, then people will look at them and go, I like you because of that. Bernie Sanders is anything but white. He's not white privilege. Anything but white privilege. Probably got his jacket at Kmart, if there is any of those anymore. And he got his mittens when he was standing in line to check out at Ross. And I don't know, get those. I'll get those right there. That'll be fine. And he's grumpy. That's nuts. But it's what you get, right? In California and a lot of these places, you get crazy. They're not done crazy. Last week, we got rid of Lincoln because he's evil and bad. Y'all know that because, of course, he's just a racist and evil. And we got rid of Dianne Feinstein because in the 1980s, she allowed or ordered a Confederate flag that was torn down or ripped or something to be put back up when she was mayor. And, of course, we all know that was evil and bad. And she should have known that. So she didn't. So we got to get rid of her name on her school and many others. So what about the evil that is acronyms?
Did you know acronyms are racist? The SF School District renamed the arts department because acronyms arise from white supremacy. VEPA had stood for Visual and Performing Arts. But they add acronyms also express things like white privilege qualities, individualism, perfectionism, objectivity. Those are white privilege qualities. So in this world where polarization is the word of the day, why spread more polarizing dogma? Because it sells.
It sells. Absolutely it does. We're talking about it. It's fun. It's insane. But I deal with it on a daily basis. I get people that hit me up. I get people that say, you don't understand, Chad. You know what? I don't understand what it's like to be black, to drive while black. I've always said that. I've always said we got to look at all angles. We got to talk about all things. We have to have an understanding that there's so much more nuance in life because we now live in a black and white society. But I also say you don't know what it's like to be white. I mean, I think a lot of times people think that they're told, but most black people don't think this, right? They don't. Like they got white people out there fighting for something that a lot of them are just like, I don't know why you think like that. We're trying to do like everything else. We're all trying to get ahead and live our lives. I was talking about this yesterday with my uncle, who, by the way, is Latino. Very much. My Auntie Karma, she's black. They're my family. And we were joking about the fact that, I think a lot of times people think that white, that producer Phil or producer Anthony or myself or anybody else just walk around going, how can we destroy black people today? And really you're thinking, did I eat at Wendy's twice yesterday? Like, did I? I can't wait till my rubber golf balls get here so I can practice inside the, no, it's not. But it sells, and that's what the media loves. And the media needs it because conflict sells. And take away race. Just look at reality TV. What sells on reality TV? Conflict. So it's easier to go, well, we'll just get as many people looking at this craziness because of conflict. No. To me, I find it all to be ridiculous. We're going to get rid of acronyms because somehow kids who don't understand English will have trouble with this. Well, you know what? The beauty of it is they're here. They're trying to learn, and they want to learn English. So that's a good thing. Right? We'll let that go. It's time to get over. Stop being offended by everything. You don't like what I tweet? Scroll by. I don't like what you tweet? I'll scroll by. You don't like my show? Go to another show. I don't like what's on TV? I go to something else. It's nuts. It is. And the cultural civil war is the thing that we're fighting, and that's the thing that I'm trying to fight. Giving everybody a voice. Bringing the conversation from a 10, which is screaming and yelling with nobody listening, down to a conversation about, hey, let's learn, let's grow. And let's not be so damn thin-skinned. I often wonder, do they hire people to just wake up and go, all right, what do I have to be offended by today? Because then I got to go over here, and then he's going to be this. Okay, so Bernie Sanders, he's evil because of the mittens. Like, mittens are evil now? My God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I do. We don't need to be offended. I'm telling you guys right now, if you tell everybody they're racist and evil and bad, that doesn't help anything. And if you try to play down things that people have real feelings about, that doesn't help anything. If we can have a conversation, that's the thing that helps. Doesn't mean we're going to change people's minds. And it's the one thing I've learned about being on the internet. You're not changing anybody's mind online. You're not. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. How much do Super Bowl tickets cost for the GOAT versus the potential GOAT this weekend? Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
And today, Disney did in fact confirm that they will be updating the legendary Jungle Cruise attraction, one of the most historic in the history of the park, but in a way that many people probably didn't see coming. In what some believe to be a long overdue update, Disney will be replacing all scenes that might be considered racially or culturally insensitive.
This is just super cool to see all these changes coming, and in a way that keeps the story of the Jungle Cruise alive. It's very much in the spirit of the attraction, so I'm super excited to see it all come together.
So they're going to change it because culturally it keeps the spirit of it alive. You're supposed to be in the jungles. It's supposed to be in the 1800s. And it's just, oh, boy.
So that would include the rhino encounter, the tribal dancers, the war party, and yes, even Trader Sam. The reason for the changes is, of course, part of Disney's ongoing initiative to keep pace with modern sensibilities. That means more inclusion. That means less racism, less cultural insensitivity, less sexism.
Of course. That's exactly what it's about. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, we could be honest, right? Hey, modern sensibilities. Are we going to give them all phones? Huh? It is ridiculous, Mickey. I hate it. I got no choice. I got the board. They're like, hey, Mickey, you're racist, sexist, blah. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know either. I mean, it's awful. Remember pirates? Oh, like, oh, change the pirates because we know they didn't like women. They weren't doing any of that stuff. They didn't pillage. Oh, let's make it all fun. Oh. I love that. Remember that? And they were chasing the women, and then the big fat woman, nutritionally overachieving lady, nondescript, they, them, he, hers, was chasing that. Oh! Now it's the PC pirates. It's awful. It is. Well, that's woke. You think I don't even know what to do. Oh, it drives me crazy. I'm sorry, Mickey. I'm going to take a deep breath here because I am they're after every Trader Sam buy haunted mansion. Why do all of them have to be ghosts that look like that? I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Mickey upset. Of course, I get it. I know. Mickey, chill. I'm trying. I'm pissed. Right? This came out last week. You guys didn't talk about it. I'm trying to get my point across. Bah! I'm so. All right, dude. Breathe. Follow along at Chad Benson Show. Check out Twitter. All the other stuff. We can do a Facebook Live a little bit later. Super Bowl's this weekend. Excited. So you got the GOAT versus the potential GOAT. Arguably the dream matchup. It happened, 3 years ago, and they didn't think they'd ever meet again in a situation like this. But Tom, the GOAT, left the Patriots, went over to the Buccaneers. They're in the Super Bowl. They're hosting the Super Bowl. First time ever an NFL team has hosted a Super Bowl and played in it. Taking on the defending champs. Everything's totally different this time. So are the ticket prices. It's 35% capacity. You thought this thing would sell out in such a way as far as the amount of money people will be spending. It's just not happening. Now, that may change, but it's just not happening the way that people thought. And in a normal time, even without the economic craziness and stuff, you figured it would be massive. But you put in the fact that it's limited, you would think this thing would be huge. But because of travel restrictions and a lot of other things and the fact that people aren't there all week and it's part of the experience and many people go to the Super Bowl week without tickets and try to get them there, probably keeping the prices down. Still going to be a hell of a game. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter, your Instagram. Check out Chad Benson Show TV on YouTube and the Facebook as well. Have a blessed Woke Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow. Ha-ha! Night-night, Jack.